Nerd is the new sexy.
Gambit, today I challenge you to a very special kind of combat. Do you know what kind of combat it is?
Mortal Kombat.
This is Wyldfyre1. With me today is
Gambit as always.
This is Nerds the New Sexy. We're on episode 47 today, and if you couldn't tell before, you know now the episode is about Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat!
There's quite a bit we can talk about with Mortal Kombat. Best way to start is at the beginning. It started out as a arcade game.
The most violent arcade game ever made at the time.
Oh yeah, the critics were bitching and whining.
There was a whole thing about like moms against Mortal Kombat. The nation went crazy about how much violence and gore was in this, and like you hit a dude and blood sprays. It was the first time that you really had these violent graphic scenes, which are, when you go back and play the first one, are pretty tame by today's standards, actually.
Oh, by today's standards, but that was one of the first games that actually did that. I mean, you saw someone rip someone else's heart out, someone else would like rip out someone's spine, all that. It's the first time you ever saw fatalities, and it was great. And as a kid, I mean, that was beautiful. I used to love to go to the arcade and play that game, and just watch someone play, because you'd get that badass in the arcade that just get on there and just rape everyone, like just totally go through people, who would challenge him, and he knew all the fucking codes, because that's all he did all day long.
The coolest thing about it too is it harkens back to a day when arcades were a thing. Like your mom would give you $20 and you'd sit in the arcade and you would just play video games all day long.
That would be a whole day at a fucking arcade. $20, dude. That was
$20, man. $20. It was like 25. It was like 25 cents. 50 cents was like the expensive video game.
Yeah,
back then.
That was Mortal Kombat back in the day.
And that was Mortal Kombat. And I remember people would line up for the damn thing, putting their quarters on the machine, calling who's going to be next on it.
Yep, and that shit was fun. I was a bit of a voyeur with that. I didn't necessarily like to play too much, because I don't know, at the time I wasn't very good with the controllers and shit, and I was better. I liked the shooter games and stuff, but it was always fun to watch, like, people play other characters. Watching Scorpion, rip his head off and blow fire over someone's face and watch him melt and shit. It was always cool. And those graphics at the time, being as crappy as they look today, at the time was the most amazing thing ever. I mean, they had real life actors playing the characters, which was amazing.
Yeah, and they modeled them after real humans. It was just insane.
Yes. It
was insane how well it looked. The graphics were amazing. The characters were great too. And that since we're starting at the beginning, you got to talk about the original 7 characters, unless you counted Shang Tsung as the boss. The original characters were Johnny Cage, Kano, Raiden, Liu Kang, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Sonya Blade.
Yep. I think there was a code you could... I could be wrong. I think maybe that was the second one, but I think there was a code you could play fucking Goro at one point.
I think that was for the actual video game that came out. I think it was the third game, actually. The third game you could play. But yeah, and that's the thing, and that's where a lot of people get confused, is because Goro and Shang Tsung were in the video game, but they were the boss fights. Oh yeah, and it was... the game was fun, and on top of that, like, it was really kind of one of those really simply put together games. When I say simply, I mean the fighting, you just go up this totem pole of bad guys or people you're fighting against till you get to the last two. And it was simple but brilliant. It was simple but brilliant. Oh, I mean, and like I said, the fatalities were where it was at when I was a kid. When me and my brother first got that game, oh my god, we would play it for hours and just like beat the hell out of each other. I was always a Johnny Cage fan. Johnny Cage is the man. I don't care how cocky he was. He was awesome. It was Johnny Cage and Raiden for me. And then I kind of fell in love with Sub-Zero a little bit. And then I would have to say it was Scorpion, then Liu Kang, Sonya, and Kano. I didn't play Kano at all. It's the first game. I mean, let's talk about... They based a lot of their characters off of people from movies or real life people. I mean, come on. You got Raiden, Big Trouble in Little China. Well, what I liked about it was... And this is one of those fun facts that only few people know. It was an American game designer, and they designed the game without a storyline. They wanted a storyline in there, and they did a very small comic book that was very short-lived. I remember that. When it first came out, it was to be that Johnny Cage was actually the hero of the story, not Liu Kang. Yeah, it turned out to be Liu Kang But it turned out to be Liu Kang because when it went from arcade to console, they found that the most popular played character was Liu Kang because he was based on Bruce Lee. Yeah, he was based off Bruce Lee, and what Johnny Cage was who?
I forget. You know that, I think.
Johnny Cage was the movie star white boy.
Yeah, but who was he based off? Was he supposed to be like Jean-Claude Van Damme? Was he supposed
I don't know if they actually based him off a real life person, but the original storyline was supposed to be this: is that a cocky, arrogant American, Johnny Cage, went to the tournament, fell in love, Sonya
Blade, yeah,
and then won the tournament. So it was supposed to be like the overarching, very typical American story.
Oh,
hero gets personal growth, learns to be a better fighter, learns that he's fighting not for his ego or anything like that, but he's fighting for the fate of the world.
He's fighting for the fate of the world and love itself.
And love itself, and gets the girl. He gets the girl. He gets the girl.
Not only does he get the girl, he gets the girl pregnant.
Yeah, he does.
That's later on.
It's so funny that was the main storyline, so much so that later on we'll talk about it, that they harken back into the newest game, and we'll go back to that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But what's so funny about that is they had this storyline so built up in their head that in the second or third game they actually brought the love interest in for Liu Kang, and that was Katana. So it was like and that's where the movie kind of goes off of. The movie goes off of like the third or the fourth game, and the third or the fourth game is when the
first movie, I think, it kind of incorporates all three of those games together, I want to say.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the movie was Sunray will tell you differently, but I think the movie was crap.
I gotta agree with Sunray. I actually really enjoyed the movie.
I think he's talking out of nostalgia when I thought it was fun. I just didn't. You know what killed it for me? It was fucking Raiden, like Christopher Lambert. Just no.
I think you did a great job.
No, just no. I just could not get past the Highlander Raiden.
Yeah. So there's not much to talk about in the first game, because it was very basic, it was very stripped down. But the second game, that's where you get a lot of your more iconic characters. Because the second game had 9 playable characters right off the bat. It had Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Johnny Cage, Reptile, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Shang Tsung, Katana, and Mileena. Jax got introduced then.
Yep.
Baraka was introduced then, and so was Raiden. Sonya Blade was actually not in the second game, which was actually kind of funny, because again, in the main storyline, Sonya Blade was supposed to die.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, didn't she supposedly die, wasn't that why she wasn't in
it? There's a lot of reasons why. A lot of the fan theory behind it was that she wasn't in it in the second game, because again, when the second game came out, they started building a better storyline for it, and the storyline was built around Liu Kang.
Yeah.
So with that being said, they brought in 2 female fighters, Katana and Mileena, and Katana was his love interest, Mileena being the bad girl, because that was the thing about the original Mortal Kombat and the second Mortal Kombat, is that everybody had an arch rival.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're right. That's true.
So in the second game, they arch rival everybody again, where it was Liu Kang and his arch rival was Kung Lao before they made Kung Lao his grandfather, or he was a descendant of Kung Lao, basically.
Oh, I thought it was his brother or some shit. I can't remember.
No, it's actually his. Again, it gets very convoluted because we're still talking about the first and second game when there was no set storyline.
Yeah, they obviously changed it in the future to make it make sense.
So when the second game came out, it was still very much based on a loose storyline that only kind of the writers knew, but the fans didn't. So again, your characters that were against each other was Shang Tsung versus Raiden, and it was Jax versus Johnny Cage. Yeah. Scorpion and Sub-Zero, obviously. Ken and Mileena, obviously, and so everybody had a rival, basically. And Reptile was the only one who didn't have a rival, because Reptile was an unknown factor at that point.
Well, wasn't Reptile and Smoke secret characters in one of the games?
No, Smoke was a secret character in the third game, so we haven't gotten to him yet.
Yeah, okay. I'm just trying to get. I can't remember all this shit. All these games kind of mashed together because with the exception of the first one.
We'll get to that when we get into the actual storyline of the games. When we start talking about the actual storyline, which actually happened in it started in 3. And again, we'll just get right into 3, because, really there's not much to talk about with 1 or 2 except for our love for playing the game, because there wasn't really anything about it. See, now, and that's when you talk about the third game, where Noob was actually a hidden character.
Oh,
but in the third game,
Sabat or Sabat or whatever.
Yeah, Noob Saibot. Now in the third game, you got a lot more different characters. You got Cyrax, Cabal, Nightwolf, Sector, Sindel, Shiva, Striker, Jax, Kano, Kung Lao, Liu Kang, Sonya Blade was back in it, Sub-Zero, Shang Tsung, Smoke. Mataro was introduced in the third game. Shao Kahn was finally introduced in the third one as well.
As the ultimate evil at the time, because he was the one pulling the strings of Shang Tsung. Remember?
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's when the third game came out, and the third game had the storyline. And the basic premise of the storyline was this. There's different realms, like multiverse theory, basically. There's different realms interlocked through the gods. Yeah, and the idea was that they made a pact. The gods made a pact saying that you couldn't invade and take over a realm unless you challenged said realm to Mortal Kombat and had to win 10 Mortal Kombats in a row, which is one Mortal Kombat each generation.
This has been decreed by the Elder Gods.
By the Elder Gods, yes. Exactly. Which
we find out, much later on. There's more to it than that, but go on.
Yeah, there's a whole lot more to it than that. And that's what's crazy about it is that we finally got this storyline of like, oh, okay. And that kind of puts you at this like really weird kind of like spot where it's like, now the original Mortal Kombat with Liu Kang, the number one, again, going back to number one was supposed to be the 9th tournament. Yeah. And that's why Johnny Cage or Liu Kang winning was such a big deal, because they stopped the inevitable realm merging and Shang Tsung taking over Earthrealm and all that other good stuff. But yeah, so it's like every generation. Now, it's funny that they say that every generation is a Mortal Kombat, but if you're doing every generation, then that means that they wouldn't be, Liu Kang, Sonya Blade, they wouldn't be in the next games because they wouldn't be the next generation.
Yeah, that makes no sense because there'd be, it's almost like it's timeless right now because they're there.
Right, and now you got this very convoluted story, and that kind of ends in, and the storyline gets real convoluted between 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Mm-hmm.
The storyline gets real fucking convoluted. I mean, terribly, horribly, hard to follow, convoluted. Mortal Kombat 3 gives you a loose idea of the storyline, and it gets kind of convoluted and hard to follow, and that leads into 4, which 4 premiered on...
Again, you forget about Ultimate Mortal Kombat.
That's true.
Mortal Kombat 3 came out, and that's where we got a few of those extra characters. I think again, tell me if I'm wrong, because it came out for, it was the arcade, the Super NES, Genesis, Sega Saturn, but, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't this one have a few more extra characters?
Yeah, Ultimate had a few characters that are playable, but they were like Noob Saibot, the ones that were secret in 3 that were now playable in Ultimate.
The Mortal Kombat trilogy came out, which had all 3 of the games, for people. It was like, oh my god, I'm going to buy all of them at once. And then Mortal Kombat Mythologies,
yeah.
That game, I think that was all about, Sub-Zero?
Yeah, there actually was a couple of just Sub-Zero games.
Yeah.
There were a few.
Sub-Zero kind of took off. He became like everyone's favorite character at one point. That's
because he had ice and he could freeze as you.
Did you say you could freeze as you?
Freezes as you.
He could freeze as. We're gonna patent that. He
was Elsa's future husband.
Oh god! Imagine the ice sex.
That would be some good ice sex. I'm not gonna lie.
That would be. I wonder if they freeze together like dogs.
Babe, get the warm water. We're stuck together.
So. You got Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero, which is basically one of those games that kind of slipped in the cracks. People either loved or hated it. I don't think it was a very good game. Then you got Mortal Kombat 4 that came out.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 4 originally came out in the N64, so this is where it really got real popular because it came out in 97. A lot of us were teenagers at that point, or like I was 13 in 97. I was definitely willing to play some more violent games at that point, and this was the game. This was actually also the game that introduced the weapon system to Mortal Kombat. Like everybody had their own weapons at this point, because the only person that had a weapon up until that point was Baraka, because it was like he had those built-in metal arms.
Yeah.
He was like Wolverine or Deadpool, if you remember the first Deadpool movie with Origins.
So which one had friendship and all that shit?
I'm not sure which one brought in friendship and babality. Those moves were hilarious.
Yeah, was it like 3 or 4? I know it was one of the ones for the Super Nintendo, or the older consoles.
Yeah. Well, the coolest thing about what I love about 4 is that at 4 is when you really started seeing the popularity of it pick up in the characters, and that's when they started really individually doing everybody's individual storyline.
Yeah. Well, they kind of went out of their way to kind of learn, give you more about them, Before you just like, oh yeah, Kano's a dude who he's a thief and he's, international thief and he has knives and shit. And for some reason he has one robotic eye.
And they finally go into all that, like with Kano being part of this secret organization that knows about the different realms. One of the only secret organizations on Earthrealm that knows that other realms exist. He's technically working for Shang Tsung.
Yeah.
That's how he's got that robotic eye, because it doesn't come from this realm. Then you get like this, and this is, I think, where the popularity of Sub-Zero comes in, because then you finally understand that Sub-Zero was betrayed, and it's like two different ninja clans, the Sub-Zero clan and the Scorpion clan. They were two different clans that were warring against each other, and one killed the other one's family, and that's why they're like, it was basically Sub-Zero's clan killed Scorpion's clan, wiped out his entire family, and when Scorpion went to hell, basically, or the Dark Realm, made a deal with like this devil, basically, to get those super demonic powers to be able to do like Toasty and like the spear and shit like that. And that's why he came back from hell to kill Sub-Zero. So like it started coming a little convoluted on the storylines of like, well, who really is good and who really is evil? Because up until that point, everybody thought that Scorpion was the evil character because he was all, demonic and hell-like. But it's like, well, no, he's just kind of avenging his family from this dickhole Sub-Zero, who later you find out didn't actually kill his fucking family.
No.
It was Shang Tsung disguised as Scorpion's clan to create the rift between the two clans, because if the two clans fought together in Mortal Kombat, they would win. And if anybody hasn't figured it out now, again, I've said it before, Johnny Cage is my favorite character. I will always play Johnny Cage, and I will whoop the dog shit out of you with Johnny Cage, or Johnny Gage, if you want to be a dick about it. Yeah, no, it's not the best insult, but people do it online all the time, and it's like, okay, whatever, I'm still going to whoop your ass with him. I'm going to shadow kick you to oblivion, bitch. I'm going to nut punch you. Johnny Cage's split nut punch move is the coolest martial art move I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's iconic.
Oh my god, like I'm gonna do the splits, I'm gonna dodge a roundhouse punch from you, and then I'm gonna destroy your testicles.
And then, there's more. Then after Mortal Kombat 4 came Mortal Kombat Gold, and I think that was like just an updated version, upgraded version of Mortal Kombat 4.
Yeah, basically.
And then Mortal Kombat Special Forces, that was a PlayStation game. I'm not even sure what the fuck that was.
I actually didn't play that one. Actually,
neither did I. I think it's one of those games. I could be wrong. Nerds, if I'm wrong, let me know. I'm pretty sure it fell between the cracks. I think that's one of the games that, because they did go, the guys who did Mortal Kombat did go ape shit with a franchise at one point and just started throwing out crap.
If we're talking chronologically too, you got to remember that Mortal Kombat 4, like I said, came out in 1997. The movie for Mortal Kombat, here, ready to feel old on this one? Mortal Kombat, the movie, came out in 1995.
Yep, I remember that.
21 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's deemed now a classic in movies. How sad is that? But you're right. There was that iconic moment where it was like, "Those are $500 sunglasses, asshole," and he kills Goro, and that was fucking dope, dude.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to watch him do that.
I love the movie. Like I said, I absolutely love the movie. And I think that movie spawned the video games. And it wasn't until Mortal Kombat, really for me, I know we're skipping a little ahead, but it really wasn't until Mortal Kombat 7 or 8 where I became an uber fan. Because ask anybody that ever worked for me or worked with me, I was hyped when Mortal Kombat came out and when Mortal Kombat X came out. I was like, my boss had to tell me to calm down while talking to customers because I was so amped about it. Because what they did, and this is why I'm kind of skipping ahead, because like you said, there's so many failures in Mortal Kombat because they tried so much with money to get different kind of video games.
I'm gonna name them off. I'm gonna name them off. That way we can just get them out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's see. I started out. Last one I said was Deadly Alliance.
Deadly Alliance.
Go Deadly Alliance. Mortal Kombat Deception. You remember that one?
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Didn't ever played that one. I played Mortal Kombat Armageddon. I do remember that one.
Armageddon was great.
Armageddon was interesting. Mortal Kombat Unchained. Don't even remember that. Never. I don't think. Ultimate Mortal Kombat is another one that came out after that. And then you got to this one, Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, which I didn't play, but I'm kind of interested in. I mean, simply because it is Mortal Kombat and, my favorite comic book franchise, DC Universe. So, I mean, did you play it?
Yeah, I did. I admittedly played it. I admittedly liked it. And playing as like Batman or the Joker or like, you know, all those characters, it was fun, but it was like, these guys don't belong in this universe. Like, Batman never ripped anybody off. Like, Batman's fatalities where you're just like, Batman doesn't kill people.
Yeah, you're like, why are you doing that, Batman?
Now, the Joker would fit really well into Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah, I agree there. Because he actually fit perfectly because he's psychotic. He's crazy.
Oh yeah, and he's like, matter of fact, if anything, they could have explained that because the Joker's background is so convoluted and so hidden that he could not be from this realm.
Yeah.
Like, he could be from one of the other realms and fucking shit up. Like, that would be a fucking badass storyline, but they never really went into that.
No, now, they wouldn't because then they'd have to share the Joker.
Now here's what you gotta understand. Up until Mortal Kombat, DC versus Villains, they, like I said, they had so much storyline, and I could literally spend the next 3 hours trying to explain everybody's storyline and everything like that. Mortal Kombat did the best thing they could possibly do, and they realized that their storyline was too convoluted and too hard to follow, so the next game they came out with was Mortal Kombat Complete, and that storyline fixed everything. It literally, basically, the creators, everybody who's a Mortal Kombat fan knows that you could skip all of the Mortal Kombats and play Mortal Kombat Complete and play the storyline and completely understand the universe. Yeah, Mortal Kombat Complete came out on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3.
Yeah, I got that. That's a good game. That game, they actually explain a lot in that game. But
yeah, and not only that, but Mortal Kombat Complete is the best-selling Mortal Kombat up to date as of right now.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That's why by the fans and everybody else, like I tell all the fans who are like, oh, it's so convoluted, I don't understand the storylines. Play Mortal Kombat Complete, play the storyline, and forget everything else.
And in fact, I think some of the Mortal Kombat Complete, some of the storyline on that came from there's like a TV show for a while.
Yeah. Everything from Mortal Kombat Complete was, they basically took, and this is what's beautiful about Mortal Kombat, and this is where they won me back as a fan, when they truly won me back as a fan, because they took all of their canon, all of their shit, and put it into a giant melting pot, sat around in a room and went, how do we make this work?
How are we going to put it all together? And
they did it
beautifully, and it all made sense.
And they did it so wonderfully that, again, like I said, it's the highest selling Mortal Kombat. It's the most successful Mortal Kombat game up to date. It smashes all records. The only one that beat that one was Mortal Kombat 3.
And if you bought it at a certain place, Mortal Kombat Complete, if you bought it at a certain place, or if I think it might have been just a PS3 thing, but you got to play as fucking Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat Complete, there's two different versions. Mortal Kombat, which was on the 9th version and doesn't have the Mortal Kombat Complete edition for both Xbox 360 and PS3 has Rain, Freddy Krueger, and there was one more. There was like 3 hidden characters.
One was Jason, I think. Did you get Jason? Or no, that's the new one. The new one was
That's
Jason.
the new one. Now, what's great is here's basically how the storyline works. That's why I didn't explain the storyline previously. So the basic storyline is this. Mortal Kombat is to complete yada yada yada. They go to the first tournament, and the first tournament runs down exactly, if you've ever seen the movie, exactly how it works. Mm-hmm. However, through the events of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and Armageddon ended the world where everybody died. But Raiden had this medallion that he cracked, and it sent him back in time. But what it did is when it cracked, it shattered his memories and just sent his memories back. Raiden knew that if the events of Mortal Kombat were to complete the way they were normally going to go, everybody was going to die. Armageddon was going to happen. Mm-hmm. So Mortal Kombat Complete was him trying to figure out what needed to be stopped, what event would stop Armageddon. During the playthrough, he finally figures out what was the key event, and the key event is that Liu Kang ultimately has to lose.
Oh, that's right.
Liu Kang has to not beat Shao Kahn. If Liu Kang loses, it will prevent Armageddon, but Liu Kang doesn't like this idea. Liu Kang goes against Raiden and eventually gets killed anyways. Mm-hmm. Then, after all that happened, and after all Earthrealm got invaded, and after this great storyline, it leads into the event of Mortal Kombat X, the newest game.
Now,
Mortal Kombat.
Spoilers are coming.
So
I have
Mortal
no
Kombat
idea
X,
about Mortal Kombat X because I've yet to play it. And I
dude, it's so good. So Mortal Kombat X is 20 5 years later, and the new main characters are the kids of some of the famous players in the first game. So Liu Kang is dead. He's gone.
Good.
Sub-Zero, right? Thank God. Now, here's what I said. Remember that in the very beginning of the podcast, I said that originally that Johnny Cage was supposed to be the hero?
Yeah.
This is how they made up for it. The main character in Mortal Kombat X, the hero of this story, is Johnny Cage's daughter.
Cassie Cage.
Cassie Cage. So Cassie Cage is the story, and Cassie Cage is the daughter of not only Johnny Cage, but of Sonya Blade as well.
So she's really hot.
Oh, she's super hot. She's super hot, and she plays like a mixture of both of them, which is super awesome. She was actually a great character. Her sidekick, her best friend, is the daughter of Jax.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So now you've got this great storyline of them basically stopping Armageddon, but now the world is in turmoil, and it's been a 25-year fight with Outrealm. Both Outrealm and Earthrealm are looking for the crystal that sent Raiden all the information about the events of Armageddon. So that's what they're looking for. And it's amazing because you get old man Sub-Zero, who's finally come to terms with his past, who's no longer evil, who's no longer angry. You get Scorpion, who's not bad anymore. You get this new bitch who's like an insect bitch who's fucking badass to play.
I've heard about her, yeah.
Oh, she is fun to play. And like I said, the storylines are just so good. Really, you could skip all the Mortal Kombat, just play Complete and play 10, and just play the storylines, and I promise you, you're going to love it. You're going to have such a Mortal Kombat hard-on. It's so good.
Mortal hard-on! I had to say it.
No, that's great. That is awesome. And I love the fact that Johnny Cage fucks the shit out of Sonya Blade, because I would have banged that bitch hard.
Well, she was, she was the epitome of what I guess the 90s supermodel chick would look like. She had freaking that blonde hair, blue eyes, and those childbearing hips.
Big old titties.
Big old bitties, yeah.
Big old bitties for your mouth.
I think that's as far as that goes, but I mean, there's so much story and so much background to it. I mean, I just everyone freaked the fuck out. I mean, it started out with the game, for the first games, it started out with so much controversy because there was so much violence in the game. People freaked the hell out about it, and now, I mean, look how far it's come.
It's funny how it's still one of the most violent games. It's still one of the most gory games out there that you can actually play. But it's not. It's like I kind of shrug my shoulders when parents are like, "Is this fine for a kid?" There's no nudity, there's no drugs, there's no swearing in it. There's just a whole lot of violence. Compared to Grand Theft Auto, it ain't got shit on it.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. I want to say Mortal Kombat's one of the reasons we ESRB.
Oh, definitely. I don't even know if Mortal Kombat, when it first came out, even had a rating. I think it was maybe. Oh, let me look that up. If that was a fun fact.
I don't think there was ratings before when Mortal Kombat first came out. I don't think ESRB started. It didn't start till a little later. But you can look it up. Look it up and let us know.
So yeah, Mortal Kombat did not have a rating when it first came out.
No. The
controversy was so bad. Controversy and censorship of the series violence spawned the ESRB rating system.
Yep. Mortal Kombat had a key play in the ESRB. And that's so damn funny to me. Like, I find that extremely hilarious. Because it took one game, a little blood, and a lot of violence to get people to go, oh, hey, you know what? We should probably rate these like we do movies.
Right, and that's the thing is, like, I love and hate the ESRB rating. And I hate it because, and I used to tell some people all the time at my old work, not all M-rated games are created equal. An M-rated game is anytime you spill blood, it's an M-rated game.
Oh, yeah.
So something like Halo could spill one drop of blood, get an M rating, and then you're going to compare Halo to fucking Grand Theft Auto? Are you fucking out of your mind?
Oh, there's no comparison. Grand Theft Auto is like fucking adult kind of game. It's got the set. I mean, there's areas in Grand Theft Auto where you see titties. There are boobies in GTA, and boobies, and I can live with that. But I'm adult enough to live with that.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, back in the day, I remember the drama when it first came out because so many moms were worried about it making their... It was like the first, like, time when they went to, like, the courts and they were talking about how, oh, this game is so violent, it's going to make the youth of America violent.
All I know is I didn't go to, because it came out when I was in high school, or actually, first game came out when I was in, like, 8th grade. I didn't go to my school and fucking rip someone's spine out, so I was okay. I didn't try and, like, rip someone's heart out or, fucking blow fire on them.
but I did practice freezing somebody like Sub-Zero. Not gonna lie.
You did? How'd you do that?
Sat in my room trying to learn how to freeze somebody.
You really did?
Oh yeah.
That's kind of sad. I'm sorry.
Well, what nerd? It's the same when I first watched Dragon Ball Z. What kid didn't sit in his room screaming at the top of his lungs trying to go Super Saiyan?
Trying to bring up his power level. Oh wait, I think I just reached 10.
Yeah, there's like a YouTube video of a kid almost making Super Saiyan. It's hilarious.
Oh god.
No, but like, so like for me, like, yeah, no, it didn't make me more violent. Like, I will say that it did definitely, like, I definitely went outside. Like we wore masks. It was watching, like, I can't say on Halloween's I went out as dressed as Sub-Zero or Scorpion.
Oh yeah,
like,
you know,
it had such a profound effect on video games and gaming in general that it just took it to a whole new level. I think that nowadays when you play a game and you're like, wow, it's like playing a movie, you have to give credit to Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat put real people in those games.
Oh yeah, I think to an extent, Mortal Kombat it's like the grandpa of some of these games, especially games that are violent.
Yeah.
Especially games that have violence and blood.
And it's one of the most successful fighting games out there. It really is. It's one of the biggest tournaments. I mean, obviously Street Fighter kind of beats it, but it was, for a while there, Mortal Kombat tournaments were just huge. They were big business, and they were big tournaments, and you could win lots of money playing these games. It was a game that was just, it's so iconic. It's going to live in infamy. And like I said, I've said this before, I love the first Mortal Kombat movie. I stand by it. I think it's a golden treasure that we need to protect with our lives. I think it's amazing.
I will say this. The first Mortal Kombat movie, you know, horrible rating and all, was still much better than the second Mortal Kombat movie.
Well, yeah, but I also think I've maintained this, that and we talked about this during the adaptations of movies from video games. It was the first successful video game movie.
Somewhat successful. It wasn't like a box office smash.
No, but for video, when you compare it to video games movies at the time in the 90s, because there was a lot that came out in the 90s, it was the most successful.
It was successful compared to like the other ones we spoke about in that particular episode. I mean, out of all of them, it probably was the most successful, like you said, but it still wasn't a box office hit. You know, it's just it was acceptable. You watch it and you're like, okay, this isn't bad. It's not good, but it's not bad.
Well, okay, put it this way. I just looked it up. The box office rating for Mortal Kombat was $122 million.
It's not bad, depending on. I wonder how much they put into it. How much did they put into it?
The budget was $20 million.
Okay, so they definitely got more than they did. They broke more than even. They got ahead. So yeah, they did okay. They did good. Now look up like Mario Brothers. How did that do?
Mario Brothers grossed $20.9 million.
And they spent how much?
$48 million.
See, that sucks. That sucks, dude. I can see that too.
And that's why I say that it's extremely successful. Because again, yes, of course, when you look at Mortal Kombat and you compare it now, yet nowadays it's not a great movie. But back then it was an amazing movie. It was a box office hit. It was a successful movie, and it was the first successful movie adaptation of a video game. It was the reason why we have video game and comic book movies, in my opinion. I will always stand by Mortal Kombat. I am a huge Mortal Kombat junkie.
I disagree with the fact that it was a box office hit, but I will agree that it was a better.
I got the numbers, bitch biscuit.
I don't care. A box office hit would be like the top 3.
Hold on, I'm looking this up. I'm actually gonna get a list here to see what it went up against, because like,
yeah, I actually want to know that. That's actually pretty good.
Hold on. Let me get there.
I forgot what movies came out, and if they were all shitty movies, but if they were like, if Jurassic Park was in the fucking lineup, I think I'll agree with you.
So this is based on IMDb's list. There is. Hold on. Wow, there was a lot of movies that came out in 1995 was a good year for movies. In 1995, 100 movies came out. So this is a list of 100 movies in 1995. Mortal Kombat, against all movies in 1995, fell in 22nd place. So 22nd place out of 100 movies. Now, being 22nd out of 100 is not bad, dick face.
I'm not saying it's not bad, but I'm not saying it's a box office hit either.
But what was number one?
What was number one?
Toy Story.
Okay. Go on. What was the top
Okay, so you
three?
got Toy Story, Batman Forever,
What?
Apollo 13.
Wait, hold on. Batman Forever was the second. Okay, that just made my point right there. Batman Forever was number 2. Oh, go on. Okay, number 3. What was number 3?
Apollo 13.
Good movie. That should have got number 2. Go on.
That was a great movie. Fantastic movie. Pocahontas, Disney again.
Yeah, Disney.
Disney always does very well just because it's movies that parents can take their kids to.
Yeah, you know, shuts the little kids up. It's cool.
Then you got GoldenEye, James Bond movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Jumanji, Casper, Seven, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Crimson Tide, Dangerous Minds, Mr. Holland's Opus, While We Were Sleeping, Congo, Father of the Bride Part 2, Braveheart, Get Shorty, Grumpier Old Men, The Bridges of Madison County, and then Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
So it went up against some good fucking movies.
It did. What was after Mortal Kombat? Just like give me the 3 after.
9 Months, Outbreak, and Heat.
But I don't know why Batman Forever was
that
number
can't
2.
be number 2.
That can't be number. Batman Forever was such a bad.
I'm wondering if I'm looking at the list of just movies that came out. Here, no, I went to a second site, IMDb, the top box office films of 1995. Toy Story, Batman Forever, Apollo 13. Yeah, same list.
I could believe Toy Story, but not Batman Forever. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, Batman Forever was riding a lot of hype, plus it had Jim Carrey and Val Kilmer. My point being is still, 22nd is not fucking bad out of 100 films and going up against Disney movies. 4 Disney movies, to be precise.
It didn't just go up against it. It kind of lost to him. 22. It doesn't make it a box office hit.
I forgot one, too. Waterworld took 12th place.
Oh.
Dry Land is not a myth! I've seen it!
Oh, God, Waterworld was so bad. I don't know why it would take. That was almost as baffling as Batman Forever.
Okay, but when you talk about box office smashes, right? It's not all the times that it's a great movie because people don't know that. They're going to see if it's a good movie.
I disagree with it being a box office smash because a box office smash is like the top 3 fucking movies. But a successful movie is a movie that made more than they put in, and it was a successful movie. It was.
Thank you. It was successful, and like I said, at my list here of video game movies, all video game movies except for Mortal Kombat were negative to the filmmakers.
Yeah, and the video game movies all suck.
Except for Mortal Kombat.
I mean, why do you want to be immortal?
To live forever?
Yeah, exactly.
Mortal Kombat will always stand as one of those games that just stands the test of time for me. The movie stands the test of time, and it was so revolutionary that if you're not even a fan of fighting games, because I get it, fighting games can be very boring. They can, and maybe you don't have the skill to play fighting games because the buttons are convoluted and it's hard to play. But just play the storyline, or at least watch somebody who's good at it. Play it, because you're really going to enjoy the storyline of Mortal Kombat Complete and Mortal Kombat 10. They are fucking wonderful games. I highly recommend picking up, and they, for me, give me a raging nerd boner. Hard.
Yeah, I'd pretty much given up on Mortal Kombat, because all the crap games they put out before. Mortal Kombat Complete actually just I got it. I was like, you know what, it's for sale. I'm gonna buy it, and I played it, and I just loved it. So I agree. I think everything, all the disappointments from all those other like pieces of shit that they were throwing at us throughout the years was actually kind of redeemed by Mortal Kombat Complete. And then I never got to play X, but I just hear it's amazing. So there you go.
Put it this way: if you want even more proof, all the rating systems that Mortal Kombat has been given consistently gets 9 out of 10.
The new ones, right?
Everybody loves Steam. Everybody's going batshit crazy for Steam right now. Steam reviewers give Mortal Kombat Complete a 9 out of 10 on a video game.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat Complete. Well, you said it yourself. It's one of the best-selling Mortal Kombat games ever. So
yeah, and it's amazing. And right now it's super cheap too. And like I said, you'll get all the storyline that you ever want out of it. It's just super amazing. I cannot say enough good things about Mortal Kombat. I could literally talk for hours about Mortal Kombat because it's just super fucking great. And it's just spawned so many good things. Yeah, was there a river of shit when Mortal Kombat writers cared about money? Of course, the Sub-Zero games, Mortal Kombat versus DC. That was just basically that might as well have been
an ocean of shit.
Yeah, that might as well have just been called Mortal Kombat in search for more money.
Yeah, pretty much. Mortal Kombat just give us your money.
Yeah, but when it comes down to it, when Mortal Kombat wants to make a good game, Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat Complete, Mortal Kombat 10. When Mortal Kombat wants to make a fucking... I've seen Mortal Kombat a lot right now. I'm starting to lose all morning.
Yes.
Mortal Kombat. When Mortal Kombat wants to make a good game, they'll make a good fucking game.
So I'm kind of curious to see what's next.
I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be done with it. I mean, they did leave Mortal Kombat. I'm not going to give away the spoilers to the ending of Mortal Kombat 10, but they kind of left it open for another game. And I wouldn't be mad at another game. I really wouldn't. I really would not be mad at a different game. I think Mortal Kombat, when it sticks in its butter zone, when it knows it's a fighting game, it does very well. Mortal Kombat, for me, is the second best fighting game out there in the world. The only one that beats it, in my opinion, is Tekken.
Okay. I'm surprised you didn't say Street Fighter.
I love Street Fighter. You know I love Street Fighter. But for me, that's the fourth best fighting game.
Okay, what's the third?
For me, it goes Tekken, Mortal Kombat, and then King of Fighters.
Okay.
And actually then Soul Calibur.
Oh, Soul Calibur actually has, and I don't even like fighting games these days.
And then I'd probably put Street Fighter.
See, I don't even like fighting games, and Soul Calibur has a place in my heart. Like, I love that game. Yeah, with that said and done, everyone, if you have any ideas for us to talk about, be sure to put them down on the Facebook page, or if you want to be a guest and or female and wants to do a interview with us, you can speak to myself on the Facebook page and Gambit on the Twitter page. Anything you'd like to add, Gambit?
No, other than that, Ice Cold, I have not forgotten about you. We'll be doing a huge review here very soon, probably within the next week. I'll be getting the review video out. I'm up to 30 hours of watching his fucking Twitch.
Jesus.
Yeah, I go ham, dude. It's my thing. It's kind of my thing.
It's my thing.
But I am doing reviews, so like I said, ladies, if you want to do part of the interview, please by all means hit me up on the Twitter, tweet me. If guys out there or girls, if you want me to review your YouTube page or Twitch accounts, hit me up on Twitter as well.
If you have a good week, and we'll see you next weekend on Nerd is the New Sexy. Stay sexy.
Finish him.